first Building Raccoon Rigs video. So I'm Jake. I'm the founder of Raccoon Rigs and Ruts Mini Mounts. I've been wanting to start these videos for a while now where I just sit down weekly and talk about the business, things I've learned, hardships, wins, just everything about building a business. I've been delaying this because I always had this thing that I wanted to be right and perfect, but my wife and I have been saying it doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to exist. And so we've been adopting that into a lot of the business things recently. Not the products, they need to be perfect. Just overall business, marketing, and things that will help us grow that get delayed because it's not perfect. So I'm starting this in my messy office with a scraggly facial, whatever you want to call this. The first thing I want to do is kind of give a background on Raccoon Rigs. Raccoon Rigs is a stealthy climbing equipment company meant for saddle hunters to be where they are, is our catchphrase. I thought of Raccoon Rigs 2 years ago now, a little over 2 years ago. Came up with a name. I'd already been experimenting with climbing alternatives that weren't sticks or climbers or anything like that, just because I hate them. I know they are for other people, but I just do not like using sticks or climbers. I'm a public land hunter. Most of the time I'm going pretty far in. I'm carrying all this stuff on my back, and I didn't enjoy the current mainstream climbing methods. So I brainstormed a lot of different ideas, fell out of trees many times, and then finally came up with the Bandit Climber, which is our current product. And so I started building the Bandit Climber. It went through many iterations, I think like 40 iterations before we settled on the one that we were comfortable with selling. So then I started making those out of my garage. Nothing fancy. I mean, it was me hand building every single climber out of my garage and selling. But let me back up a little bit. Before that, we went to the Mobile Hunter Expo, and that's where we launched the Bandit Climber. I'll be forever grateful to the Mobile Hunter Expo. It went extremely well. We sold out, and then we got back ordered immediately, and so it was awesome. Leading up to the Mobile Hunter Expo was quite the experience. It was just me, my wife, and my little brother, and my best friend coming to help out. And we were just struggling along, trying to get everything done, hand building all the climbers, making t-shirts, making hats, getting marketing materials, pamphlets, brochures, instructional videos, all the lawyer stuff for the paperwork that you get when you buy a Bandit Climber, all that stuff. We had no idea what we were doing. We were doing it all for the first time. I'll drop some footage here of some of the stuff that we were doing to prep for the Mobile Hunter Expo. What do you think? Expo prep. So it is 2 a.m. on June 16th. We are about 1 week out from the expo. We're downstairs. I am making shirts. Delane is making hats and beanies, and came to the realization that we still have 522 shirts left to make, and we're a week out. So if my math is correct, that's about around 65 shirts a day, and we still have to make all the Bandit Climbers for the expo. We've got to make the displays, finish the website. We've got to do one last content shoot, and we both still have full-time jobs. Here are the dummies. Here are the shirts. It is gonna be a wild week. How you feeling? Alright. We just cut out all of this, which when you look at it on the camera like this, it actually doesn't look like much, but every single one of these was in a large sheet, and we just cut out every single one by hand. We got the founder of Ruts Mini Mounts not doing anything. Bruh, get to work, dude. All right, so I just finished cutting all the pipe for the Bandit Climbers that are gonna be at the expo. Got the rope cut, started to tie up some of the knots. So as you guys can see, I'm in my gym. This isn't some big corporation. This isn't some crazy like, oh, we're this huge company. It's me and my wife, and my little brother is helping me out. And we're building this stuff out of the gym in our garage. So put in the work, T-minus, what, 1 week?
Yeah, about 1 week.
1 week until
pressure's on.
The expo. Gonna bang out all these Bandit Climbers, make sure they're perfect for everybody. And got the carabiners right here for the safety lines that are getting good to go. My little brother did all these for us. Final stretch, we're doing it. We've got The base of the Bandit Climber is done. As you can see here, looking real good. You got the steel base with it's the grip. And then we've got the carbon fiber reinforced end caps to protect the rope and keep it from fraying. And then we got our heavy duty climbing grade rope. I mean, look at that. Look how beautiful that rope is. I don't know if you're a rope person, but if you're a rope person, that's some high quality rope. And right now we're tying up and making the Bandit Climbers. This one's almost done. But again, it's just me in here. My wife filming. So it's just me in here making all these from scratch. You know, we're not some big, huge company. We're not some big corporation. It's just one guy who is trying to provide hunters with an easier, quieter, faster way to hunt. So if you're watching this after the expo, hopefully you've got one of these in your hand and you're starting to get some practice in for the upcoming season. Pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This is a year and a half in the making.
Finally going out into the world.
Finally going out. Quite the experience. I mean, it was really fun. It was seriously one of the best weekends of my life. I had a blast. I learned so much. And, you know, I got a good glimpse into the industry. I got laughed at by a few industry competitors, which, oh, I needed that. I met a lot of good people, made a lot of good friends in the industry that I hope to work with soon with developing more products. So it's been great. The idea of these videos is to just sit down weekly and, you know, sometimes they might be 15 minutes if I've learned a lot or had a lot of issues, or everything's going great, might be 30 seconds. But I just wanted to sit down, start talking about this stuff and be as transparent as I possibly can when building these businesses, just to give you an insight as to what's going on, show the behind the scenes, whether it's behind the scenes of the business or just my mind while I'm trying to figure out how to build these businesses and build Raccoon rigs and Ruts mini mounts and go out there. And so what I plan to do is do 2 weekly videos, actually, building Raccoon rigs, building Ruts mini mounts, because they're 2 very different businesses with very different problems, very different marketing strategies and everything like that. So what I'm going to touch on now is kind of how Raccoon Rigs started and where we're at now, and just the process in between. We started, like I said, I was hand building everything out of the garage, sourcing all the materials myself, going and picking them all up all over the place, driving them back to my house, hand building out of the garage, a lot of trial and error. By the time I got to like the however many Bandit Climbers we sold, I could do it with my eyes closed in my sleep. I could just assemble one by hand instantly. But when you're doing tons, it consumed my life. I mean, I was in the garage the second I woke up, the second I finished, and then I was up all night marketing, answering customer emails and stuff, and then doing Ruts mini mounts on the side. Eventually, the Bandit Climbers were doing really good, but then some of the manufacturers that we were using for like grip and the end caps, the material from the end caps, they switched up some of their products and formulas and didn't tell us. And so I ordered the same materials and parts, went and picked them up and got them, just to find that they were different. Like the adhesive wasn't as good, or the strength wasn't as good, and they didn't tell us these things. So I'm making the Bandit Climbers the exact same way I'd always had, and then we started getting some issues. Like people were like, hey, the grip is coming off, or the end caps are breaking. And I'm like, what on earth is going on? Finally, we reach out to the manufacturers. They tell us that they changed up some stuff. Didn't think to tell us. It just, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, and there was a lot going on. So we stopped selling Bandit Climbers because I didn't want to be selling something that I wasn't completely confident and proud of. It still worked fine. They were very safe. They still worked fine, but it's just the idea of buying something just for it to not be perfect didn't sit right with me. So stopped selling Bandit Climbers and went all in on focusing on Bandit Climber V2 and the next phase of Raccoon Rigs. Hired a product design engineer because my ideas had surpassed my ability on the computer. I can draw it on a paper, but I can't, I'm not an engineer. I can't make it boom. So brought a guy on named Lucas, and he's great. I'd send him all my drawings, all my designs, all my things, and he would turn them into a reality. And so we went through a lot of iterations, and finally landed on some designs that we thought looked really good, and then became the manufacturing learning portion of this. So I, reached out to countless manufacturers trying to learn about materials, get quotes, capabilities, manufacturing methods like CNC machining and die casting, gravity casting, sand casting, all this stuff. And so it was a process, a lot of failure. We had many products that I thought of that aren't coming to see the light of day just because manufacturing them would just be so complex and complicated. So I've got to dumb down my designs really and make them less intricate. But now we're at this stage. We have the Bandit Climber V2 prototype and the Sly platform prototypes about to be shipped to me as of today. I think they're shipping tomorrow, and they'll get here and I'll be torture testing them. And I've been posting them online, some sneak peeks, just to get people's initial reactions, and they've been great. People are excited. It actually is pretty funny. Instagram, so like I post on Instagram, and everyone on Instagram, they've got questions, obviously, but pretty hyped and excited, and they're like, wow, that looks great. They're excited to try them. And I post on Facebook, it's just, that looks bad. The design doesn't look like it's gonna work at all. Well, Facebook is brutal. Facebook is brutal. That's how it always has been with Raccoon Rigs. Most of the brutalness came from Facebook, which I need. We need to hear mixed opinions and hear how we can improve. But man, not one compliment comes from Facebook. As of today, we're planning manufacturing. If these prototypes go really well, I'm gonna abuse them. I'm sending some out to the community to test and get feedback on. And once the prototypes are confirmed and everything looks good, we're gonna try to move forward with manufacturing for mass production and hope that we can make it to the Mobile Hunter Expo in time. I haven't signed up for the Mobile Hunter Expo yet just because I don't know if the products will be here in time. And there's no point in going if we don't have products to show, sell, talk about. Yeah, that's where we are at today. And that's probably where I'll end this video for this week, and then come back next week, touch on what's going on. Hopefully I have the products in my hands and I can show. But yeah, gonna start posting these weekly. And look, I know these aren't gonna get views. I know I'm talking to myself right now. I'm posting to pages with 0 followers or anything. That's not what this is about. This is about, honestly, it's more for me to be able to look back, see what I was struggling with in the moment, and hopefully learn from myself in the future. Thanks for watching. I hope you follow along to the journey and stay tuned. Thank you.